Hello and welcome back to Exeter City, where I've played through those games where we finished off the transfer window, just as unspectacular as the remainder of the transfer window, but there's still a few deals I need to get you caught up on. The only vaguely important outbound is Sean Longstaff went, he wanted to go, so off he goes. £1 million, cost me basically half that a year ago. Actually played a reasonable amount, but mostly off the bench. Avalos, the goalkeeper, still didn't get a work permit, and he did finally agree to go out on loan. He's gone to Vigo, but the fact he didn't get a work permit means I did need a backup goalkeeper that was better than Jack Butland, and the only one worth getting really was Daniel Iverson. Hate the fact his wages are good. I would have preferred to have kept Nesheret from last time, but probably shouldn't have sold him. I sold him on the basis that Avalos was probably going to get a work permit because he's been playing games for Paraguay, and Praza got a work permit without any issue. So did Nazari, the Iranian right-back, who isn't anywhere near the first team at this point in time. Both of those got work permits. Admittedly, Nazari's was after Avalos's was declined, so that didn't factor into my decision. But Praza getting a work permit made me pretty much confident that Avalos was going to get one, and he didn't. So Iverson's come in. He's cost me £3 million. He is better than Nesheret at least, and actually played league games for Leicester, which is confusing. That'll be why their first choice goalkeeper Bazanu was out at the very beginning of the season. So that's why Iverson's played. Though hilariously, they have Rajkovic there, who we sold to them a year ago for £3.5 million, and he hasn't seen a single minute. And we've covered Longstaff's exit by acquiring Jomberg Henriksson from River Plate. Yes, he's one of the Argentinian League regens, or new gens, but he's Faroese. Not entirely certain how that's happened. But he's 26, he's decent, and massively under-star rated, I think. Lacking a few important technicals down here, notably passing and tackling, but physically great, mentally great, good at corners and first touch techniques up there. I don't know why he's only regarded as 3 stars, or indeed leading championship. He looks really quite good. Natural Freitas has 9, but we'll probably sell him on before he declines anyway. But frankly, I'd been eyeing him for a while and just couldn't really find the excuse to do it. I just wanted the Faroese player, £8 million. And simultaneously, I was also sat on 50 million, which wasn't being touched at all. So, yeah, tiny bit impulse buy, but at the same time, we did need to replace Longstaff a little bit. And he is effectively the like-for-like replacement in the central midfielder attack if Hesham's unavailable. But we played those games, and as I said, we beat Leeds 2-1, much less emphatic than the Arsenal game, but Prieto and Martin getting a free kick winner after we conceded a penalty. Yay for that, still being a thing. And then the entire backup team won 3-0 against Reading. I actually played Jack Butland in that, and he kept a clean sheet, surprisingly. And then finally a 1-1 draw away at Leicester. Adara Bio, I'm never going to be able to pronounce that name in one go, scored a worldie to equalise. We got 6 bookings in that game, and then Leeds before that was 0 bookings. I don't understand what's going on the bookings. All over the place. We got fined for that, because 6 in one game. The sad news is that Ethan Ampadu has been terrible in the 3 appearances he's had, so Ballard's starting here. Otherwise, we're unchanged. Although Henriksson... this is the awkward point, because Henriksson versus Angelo. I had loan offers for Angelo. You know, Praza on a heavy match load won't be involved in today's game. Obviously, he's had Thailand duties during the international window, so that's why he's a little bit more tired than anyone else. Well, you'd think Henriksson would have Faroe Islands, although that's a shorter flight. And we'll give him whatever number... Oh, don't know what Longstaff had, but 24 you're getting. Oh, and Smalls in for an injured Aaron Martin. Completely forgot about that bit. Aaron Martin's out for 4 to 5 weeks. Great. But the good news is Smalls actually performed. Left back has a very similar problem to right back in the sense that really good left backs that would actually improve the left back position cost like £80 million and won't join us anyway. I tried to sign Sergio Gomez, who would have been an improvement, and he was the only one within the price range because he was transfer listed at £27.5 million. He would not talk to us, and then he signed for Udinese, who, as far as I'm aware, aren't in Europe either. So, work that one out, as Fabio Silva goes close for Wolves there. Our reputation's actually okay now. I'd have been fine with Sergio Gomez declining us if he hadn't then signed for a team that isn't any better. Yeah, Sergio Gomez has really good set-piece taking, etc., so that was why I was eyeing him. And players like Tellers, oh, I said I was happy. And players like Tellers and Plattenhart, of course, set-piece masters, a little bit too old now, unfortunately. In fact, Plattenhart's probably retired at this stage. Markovic, Mansley, there's a real lack of set-piece takers currently. Prieto, Tiberio, Eduardo's in the middle. Eduardo scored a goal, it's his first. Tiberio is praising, I think. And that might have been Prieto, I'm not certain. one of them was doing bowing. I don't know why. It's Prieto who was bowing. It's Tiberio with the assist though. Eduardo, can't miss him in the middle there. But with his feet, yeah, it is awkward that we have a presser in the attacking forward and attacking forward in the pressing forward slot. But height matters in this arrangement. I should say, of course, 7 points in the league did see us in the top 4 at the start of today. Mansley, Ballard. But those other 2 games kind of went as I would have expected now. Like at home, we should be beating Leeds, and we've played long enough at Millwall Stadium for the Den to be counted as a home stadium now. If anything, when we actually move into our new home stadium, it's going to feel more away than the Den is. Tapia equalises. I'll almost be sad when we leave the Den, if I'm honest. I still think we've got 2 more seasons. We've got this one and I think the entirety of the next one before we get to move into that. Bournemouth might have moved into their stadium by now, although they have been relegated, so we're not going to see it. Fernandez is pushed. Semedo's on a booking, so no worldie for Semedo today, as they bring on Shackleton for Jimenez. They're playing with inverted wingbacks. What's with the AI doing meta things? Ballard's on a 6.3. What is it with this right centre-back position? We're on 67 minutes here. I'm not seeing any reason to change any of the players. Fernandez is a little bit off, but okay, with 10 men, still no improvement. Okay, Uribe on for Fernandez. I'm actually going to bring Henriksen on for Hesham, who I imagined had Egypt duties as well. You know what? Angelo for Mansley as well. I need to get him some game time. I can't just leave him to rot, unfortunately. I said that as if I wanted him to rot. You know what I mean? Just switched to the full plates, as I'll call it, just because I realised they're sitting quite deep with their 2 midfielders, or at the very least that's what the graphic makes it look like. So switching to an attacking forward rather than a defensive midfielder, and I'm slightly worried this is going to be a highlight for them, but Small's on the ball. Didn't intend for the rhyme there, and he's giving it away to our old friend Anel. The Small's got in the way there again, and Carlos Wallace played in Uribe. He can't. I was going to say he can't miss. He never actually took the shot, so technically he didn't. Highlight's still going, concerningly. Great. So from what was a guaranteed winner for us, turns into a winner for them. Sanchez, what are you doing, buddy? Either come out or don't. Well, Wolves remain the bogey team. Semedo was booked twice in 3 minutes. What is going on here? Why is this still a problem? Still 5th, though. Oh, Chelsea have re-signed Ancelotti, by the way, as you can see there. You may remember a while ago, Chelsea sacked their manager and then used their head of youth development as their caretaker manager. He did leave Chelsea at the end of his stint, and we picked him up as our head of youth development. Yeah, he's ridiculous as a staff member in any capacity. Driven personality, I would have preferred a professional one, but still, good God. I mean, that sentence sums it up. We were the better team, but somehow we've ended up losing. I don't even need to commentate when the game does it for me. What is going on in the Premier League now? I feel like the further you go into a save, the weirder the results get. United win 5-0, Burnley win 5-1. Arsenal also beat West Ham 5-1 in this game week. The scorelines get wild. Yeah, Avalos is up to 8 caps, so hopefully I have a very Merry Christmas when I apply for his work permit next time. I'm not going to bother recalling him because I don't need to, but he might be the starter next year. If he gets a little bit of development at Vigo, then he's definitely in line for it. Which is also good news because Robert Sanchez now has a new contract without a release clause, so I can get good money for him. I think I'm only getting this piece of news because Lincoln are on my favourite teams as a profile. Aaron Lennon's joined Lincoln as a scout, which is amusing in itself. The appointment demonstrates Downing's desire to add to the international experience within his backroom, with Lennon set to link up with former international star Andrew Cole. I didn't realise he'd legitimately been a coach a little bit in the past. In 2009 and then had a 10-year gap, and then currently on a 2-year gap because he's been signed by Lincoln in-game, I think, at the very beginning. Lincoln currently in-game, pretending they're being played like an actual FM save. In fact, at this point, I'd say they're sort of challenging myself for the wild staff members. I've got Solskjaer in my coaching team and Luis Boamorte as a scout, and that's about it. The only change I'm making for the Chelsea game is bringing in former Chelsea player Ampadu into that central defence. Like I say, not played well in his first 3 appearances, but Ballard did even worse than the last one. And maybe there's something, of course, playing a player against his former team. Didn't quite work against Leicester, of course, which is where we acquired him from, but Eduardo is easily demotivated in team talks. There we are, turned him round. Chelsea playing with Tyrese Campbell up front, and also playing with a left-back who wanted to leave, which is interesting, because obviously I saw him when I was looking for left-backs, but Ruggeri, wages was the problem, of course, because he's at Chelsea. Pulisic, somehow they've still got the ball, and Tyrese Campbell's, that's the dumbest goal I've seen in about 6 months in-game, since the Everton one. Pulisic with a world-class assist. I can't even keep a straight face saying that. This is nonsensical. That is genuine pinball that's ended up in a Tyrese Campbell goal. He wears their number 11 and he scored in the 11th minute. Reece James on this right-hand side. Tonali now to Mount. All the way across to Pulisic. I'm actually surprised he's still there, to be honest. Ruggeri on the ball again. Havertz dispossessed by Mansley, who got very stuck in. Love to see it. Don't have that listed for him. And Carlos Eduardo's got a chance. Eduardo Mendy with a good save. Although that is unsurprising. We are seeing the resultant corner, and it did flicker as if this was like redoing a highlight, but alas, not the case. How have we not got the ball? We now have got the ball. We haven't got the ball. Corner from Aaron Martin again. Oh, sorry, Prieto. Aaron Martin's not on the pitch. Fernandez finds Mansley. It's an open goal, basically, and he's put it in. Well, we leave someone to lurk out there. Not for precisely that, because you have no idea where they're going to be, but it's always helpful. Why are there two out there? Fernandez finds Mansley. Why is Thierry Small there? Well, we might have an issue, actually, with corners, because Aaron Martin's supposed to take that one. We might only have one person back on those corners. I'll have to look into that. Tonali, thankfully, just gives it away. That didn't concern me there. Sanchez is going to aim at Carlos Eduardo, of course. Nope, that's Prieto. Sanchez, it's the big one in the middle. Thierry Small will intercept that, though, and Fernandez is there to capitalise. Please get it to... Okay, it's Hesham on the ball. I was going to say, please get it to Carlos Eduardo. How is he offside? Carlos Eduardo's not involved. He doesn't touch the ball. He's not involved at all in the highlight. I'm sorry, I'm just watching this next highlight in utter fury. Internally. Okay, that's poor, but they've kept it away from our players. I was half expecting them to mess that up there, and we're just going to, have a crap from Mount's fallen over there. It looks hilarious in the 3D match engine, because it just looks like Mount's fallen over. But of course it's an actual penalty. Small unfairly pushed Mount, says the text. Yeah, if that's what you call a dive. And that's a ridiculously good penalty. If we don't go on to win this, or get anything out of this, because we've had a goal ruled out incorrectly as offside, Sanchez went the right way, he just didn't dive. I've told them they've been terrible, even though they should be drawing this 2-2. Prieto with another corner. He's actually competent at corners, it's slightly awkward. Avalos straight at Mendy. We got enough people back now, as Mendy takes his time. Still taking his time. Campbell heads on to... I was going to say Campbell heads on to no one, but Pulisic will get there first because defenders cannot be asked to defend in this year's game. Luis, Tonali, Mount on the ball again. It's going to go out wide because Small's been duped into going to Mount for some reason. There is so much horseshit going on in this game. It's unbelievable. Small going into Mount there. Why? Markovic is the one to deal with him there. Why's Small gone for him? Yeah, not even being told to mark a specific player anymore, so I thought I'd just check because that used to be a thing, was to mark wingers. I'd understand it if he was still on that instruction. Avalos, it's gone in the goal. I don't think it's counting, although it would be an amplitude goal if it was. Well, let's see if this one was actually legitimately offside. Avalos heads it on, and it is Ampadu who puts it in. Okay, so that one is legitimate. Fabirio's had a shock here. Castillo's coming on. Forgot to put Praza back on the bench, but Henriksen is available. Carlos Eduardo, mate. You're on a 6.2. I'm putting Prieto through the middle. And Uribe is coming on. I feel a little bit sorry for Martin Saunders this year, who I think will become homegrown club at the end of the year. So if we do get European football by some way, then we'll have both Ampadu, of course, and Saunders as homegrown club for European football purposes. Fernandez back to Henriksen. Is that the highlight? Yep. They've had 5 shots on target and scored 3 of them. Looks like they've had an injury late on after they've made substitutions, and we cannot even capitalise on that. I mean, they've got the XG, but there's penalty in there, so don't look into that too hard. In fact, looking at it overall, I think they would edge it still, but not by much. It's frustrating because the penalty didn't look like a penalty. It looked like play acting from Mount, but that's because of the graphical engine. It probably was a legitimate penalty. But both of the Tyrese Campbell goals were nonsense, and we had a goal ruled out that shouldn't have been ruled out. I'm kind of happy that it didn't matter in the end for the overall scoreline. We'd have lost either way. But it's annoying that it didn't count and they scored 2 goals that shouldn't have happened. I tell you what, if Sanchez puts in 6.5s for the remainder of this season, if Avalos does get a work permit, I might have to reconsider that stance of not bringing him back. In fact, he's had 3 6.5s in a row now, looking back at the Leicester game. I'll keep an eye on that one going forward, but I will this time progress a little bit further and bring you back somewhat later in the season. I see Man United and Everton towards the end of November. That seems sensible. Until then, thank you for watching. Ta-ra.